Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Rust Belt Broncos. Today we're going to be installing a Voswitch 8-panel control box for off-road lights and other accessories like refrigerators, roof rack bars, things like that. So what we're going to be doing is how to install this today. This is the universal UV100 kit. On a 2021 Bronco full size. Where you can see where I got the box right now is over the factory fuse panel. I did get some self-tap-in screws that have rubber washers on them. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get the placement of the box where I want it. I basically have it where I can run a direct cable into the factory battery box here. What I like about what Ford did with their battery here is they have 2 unused posts and then these 2 posts. So what I'm going to do is just run that fuse block directly to this post, and then it will be a very short run. I'll have a little bit of extra cable if I need it, and then what I'll do is I'll tie that up somewhere over here where it's nice and clean. But I think this is the location I'm going to go with right now. So once I get it all squared up over the box, I'm going to go ahead and take this panel off, and I'll show you how I'm going to run the self-tap-in screws there. And then what I'm going to do is, before I run them down, I'm going to put some clear silicone in there, and then I'm going to silicone underneath because this is the factory fuse panel. So I'll go ahead and remove that so you can see where that location is. So that's where we're going to put this, and then it will be pretty much a direct shot into the cab. Right down there below it is the rubber boot for the cab where I'm going to run the wire to hook the controller to. So let's go ahead and take that factory fuse panel off and start self-tapping that so we can get that box mounted. All right, we got the box drilled there. I'm going to go ahead and start running these self-tappers. I'm going to take some Loctite clear silicone, make sure that I put a nice little bead in there. Don't want this leaking through. I also bought self-tappers that have little rubber washers on them to weather seal this in. So I'm going to go ahead now and put some silicone on those, and then put the fuse panel box on, and then we're going to go ahead and wire up the hot side, and then I'm going to find a good ground, and then I'm going to work my way into the cab. Alright, so I went ahead and ran the fuse block that comes with the kit. This is the fuse block. This is going to go to the hot side of the battery. I did have to buy my own 10mm nut because there is not one supplied here or here. These 2 are with the factory. So I just went to Ace Hardware and I got this 10mm nut to hold this down. I did bend it over so that when this goes over, it will close and snap just like the other ones here. So I'm going to take this long wire here that's connected to the panel. As you can see, I got everything silicone and stainless steel tap-in screws. I did silicone around the bottom as well. Just want to make sure no water gets down inside of here. And then I'm going to route all of this cable right here, all of this. I'm going to route it right behind the fender here. And I'm going to make sure it's nice and secured and out of the way. And then we'll go ahead and post what that looks like. Alright, I got the positive terminal hooked back up. I have the negative terminal hooked up there. Ran the wires all along the fender. Got those all nice and zip tied up. The box is mounted. Went ahead and ran the control wire through the firewall. You can see right there where the light came on. That's going to be for the 8-panel controller. I drilled a little hole in there and it's nice and tight and no water is leaking down through. Now I'm going to feed all of that cable through the back side and up to the dash. We're going to do that now. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and run the cable that controls the 8-panel controller through the firewall. So you're gonna see right there, there will be a rubber gasket. So I went ahead and pulled that out, and I took a drill bit and drilled that out so it's gonna fit nice and flush. This is gonna be on the inside of the cab, and then this is gonna be on the engine side. So I'm gonna go ahead and run that now. I'm gonna push this back through the firewall, and then I should see this cable come back out on the other side. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run the wire from the firewall, which we have right up there. As you can see, comes right through the grommet, and then I'm gonna run it up along the panel here. Then I'm gonna take this panel over. I'm gonna run this wire up through the top. We're gonna run it all the way up. And then what I'm gonna do is take this handle off right here, and then I'm gonna chase that. Now this is 2 pieces. So I'm gonna take this off, I'm gonna take that cap off, and then I'm gonna fish the wire all the way through the top of the dash. And I'm gonna run it right over to the accessory mount that I'm going to make. I do have a laser. I did buy some really thick acrylic today. So I'm gonna try to make a panel for the ram ball mount to sit on. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this wire real quick and show you what that looks like. Okay, as you can see, I have the side of the Bronco dash apart here. Now there are some clips that you can take out. So there'll be 4 screws right there. And once you start doing that, if you pry up right here real slow, you'll feel a small pop. And I had to work my way all the way down. And then what I did to give myself some more room, down there on the right hand side, you see there's 3 little clips hanging down there. I did take those screws out just to make the dash a little bit more where I could see where the accessory panel is. You will have to take the rubber switch plate off here. That just pops out with 4 little clips. I have a little tool here that I use. This works great. Just kind of pushed it down there, felt the clip, and then pulled it forward and worked my way around, and then that will come out. And then what you'll see here is the back of the dash and the inside. Now on the other side of the dash, you have an accessory mount, and you have 2 star head screws that you gotta take out. It's 4mm, and they're kind of at an angle. So what I did is I used a mirror so I could see them, and then I pulled that out. Now you can see I drilled a hole right there. I'm gonna run my cable through there so I can power the back of the 8-panel switch. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and I'll show you how that turned out. All right, we got the dash back together. I'm about ready to put the 4-wheel drive control panel back in there. You can see everything's zip tied nice and neat. On the back side here, I have the hole drill for the accessory mount. That's where I'm going to put the 8-panel control. And then we're about ready to clip this back in, and then I'll work my way putting the dash pad back together. So we'll continue on with that now. All right, we're about ready to wire up our first light. We're going to wire up this amber pod light. That wire is coming down through the chassis there, is coming around. Now what you want to do before you put your end on, you need to pull this little white silicone housing, run the bare wire through, twist this back around. I like to leave a little extra lead wire in case I have to service something, so I tied a knot in it. Then I brought it through. Now, after I brought it through, I went ahead and put the terminal on there, and then we're going to put this on switch 1. Now, the directions say if your light or whatever you're using, you want to take the wattage and divide it by 12. So I did that. This is a 14 watt light. Divided that by 12, I got 1.5. So I'm going to replace that 30 amp fuse with a 5 amp fuse. So you can see I did that for switch number 1. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to put it on switch number 1 and come back into the cab. I should have a light. All right, we got the cover back on. We're going to get in the Bronco and power it up for the first time, see what this looks like inside the cab. I do have the controller mounted to a key on switch. All the lights have been programmed to blue to match the Bronco, so we're going to get in here and see how this works. I just have one set of lights right now hooked up to the Bronco. We're going to call them spots. That is a nice little decal that comes with the Voswitch, and you can program all 8. But let's see what this is going to look like here. We're going to hit the button, and as you can see, without any delay, the amber pod lights came on. Really satisfied how this install went. It is very clean. The product is great. I was pleasantly surprised of the quality. This controller is all aluminum. It's not plastic. The buttons feel great. When you click the buttons, you can hear the relays in the hood clicking on, and they come on very quickly. There's not a lot of delay, hardly if any. You can turn it on or off with the press of a button, but I like the blue it's putting off. Matches the Ford Bronco very nicely. Very excited to have this controller in. I look forward to seeing what else this little device can do. I'm going to hook up with some refrigerators, some backup lights, some camping lights. So I'll be posting some more on this as we start to use it a little bit more going into overlanding. Thank you for tuning in.